Hello, dear children. Welcome to the science class. Today we are going to discuss the first chapter of class 8, that is crop production and management. From the name of the chapter, students, you can conclude that in this chapter we are going to discuss about the crops. What are crops? How these crops are produced, what are the different techniques, and after production, how we are going to manage them. So, students, what happened? So, let us begin. The two students named Paheli and Wujo, they went to what? They went to their uncle's home during their vacations. So, their uncle is a farmer by profession. So, when they reached their uncle's homes, they saw many tools like khurpi, sickle, shovel, plow, etc. in the field. So, these Paheli and Bojo, these two students want to know where and how we use these tools. Students, first of all, you should know what are these different tools. Now you can see this is the image of the khurpi. Students, this is called as the sickle and this is called as shovel and this is called as the plow. So, plow, shovel, sickle and khurpi. These are all these all are the different tools that Paheli and Viju have seen in their uncle's home, who is a farmer, and they want to know where and how these tools are used. Students, in your previous classes, you have learned that all living organisms require food. So some prepare their own food while others depend on other organisms for their food. So can you recall how green plants synthesize their own food? Yes, they synthesize their own food by the process called photosynthesis. And animals, we humans, cannot make our own food, so we animals get our food from these plants or the animals who eat these plants. So, you already know that energy from the food is utilized by we organisms for carrying our day-to-day activities like digestion, respiration and excretion. So, at last what we have concluded? We have concluded that we get our food from plants or animals or both. So students, since we all need food, so how can we provide this food to a large number of people in our country? Yes, the very simple answer is the food has to be produced on a large scale. So, in order to provide food for a large population, what the farmer should do? Right? You all know that who produce crops for us? The farmers, right? So, most of our land, most of our earth is, yes, you know that there are three sectors: primary, secondary and tertiary. In the primary, what is the primary sector in India? Yes, the primary sector is agricultural practices. So from there only we get our food. The farmers grow food for us. So in order to provide food for a large population, what the farmer should do? Yes, the farmer should follow three things. What three things? Regular production should be there, proper management should be there, and distribution is there. Now, yes, we all know that there is a large number of population in our country. So in order to provide food to a large population, there should be production on daily basis. The farmer should grow crops on daily basis, regularly, season by season, right? So after production, these crops should be managed because they have taken so much of time. They have produced a large number of crops. So if they will not manage them properly, what will happen? They will get destroyed. So all their जो भी मेहनत उन्होंने की होगी, what will happen? They will also get destroyed. So regular production should be there, and after the production, management should be there. So that the equal distribution should be there in all over the country. So you know that there are many places like Punjab, है ना, Jammu. You have heard about the rice, corns, wheat. They all are grown. So who grow this? These are grown by the farmers. So how these crops are grown, we are going to discuss about this in this chapter. But students, you have also heard that till 10,000 BCE, right? So people were nomadic, means they moved from one place to another in search of food, shelter. So they ate whatever they get. They ate raw fruits, raw vegetables, and started hunting for food. So later they could cultivate land, so and produce rice, wheat, and other food crops. Thus was born agriculture. So our ancestors, we should thank our ancestors that they have find a way so that today we 1.25 crore population can be what feeded by these only agricultural practices. So before discussing the various agricultural practices, before discussing how these crops are grown, we should know what is a crop. So students, when plants of the same kind, like if I am talking about the wheat, it means when the wheat plants are cultivated at a one place on a large scale. Suppose I have a small field area, I have to grow wheat, so I have to place all the plants of wheat so that I can get a field, or I can get a crop of wheat. So whenever I will show you, this is a area and have grown here a wheat crop. What that mean? It means that all the plants are of same kind, all the plants are of wheat, and they are cultivated at a one place on a large scale. So what is crop, student? What is crop? Who will tell me? Yes. So when same kinds of plants cultivated at a place on a large scale, that is called as a crop. For example, crop of wheat means all the plants grown in a field are of wheat. So you also know that there are different types of crops like cereals, vegetables, fruits. So how we have classified these crops? So in India, as there is a yes, it's a large land, different areas, different atmospheric conditions. So in India, the crops are classified on the basis of season. So India is a vast country. The climatic conditions like temperature, humidity, rainfall, they vary from one place to another. So there is a rich variety of crops grown in different parts of our country. So on the basis of the season, the crops are divided into two types. You can see here. One is Kharif crop, other is Rabi crops. So students, Kharif crops are that crops that are grown in the rainy seasons. So you know that the rainy season comes during the June and ends in September. So these crops are sown in the month of June and harvested in the month of September. So what are the examples that fall in this category of crops? Yes, paddy, maize, soyabean, groundnut, cotton, and yes, these all are the examples of Kharif crops. Now what are Rabi crops? बेटा the crops that are grown in the winter season, जो सर्दियों के टाइम में हम ग्रो करते हैं, that are called as Rabi crops. So Rabi crops, you know that the month of winter begins in October and ends in March. So these crops are also grown in the month of October and harvested. Harvested means they are cut down, they are matured in the March, and these are called as Rabi crops. So example of Rabi crops are wheat, gram, pea, mustard, and linseeds. So there are many pulses and vegetables that are also grown, and these are grown during summers. So in between these 2 months, like from March to June, so there are pulses and vegetables grown. So they fall in the category of Zayed crops. Okay. So if I will ask you, you know that paddy is a, yes, paddy is a, you can see that paddy is a Kharif crop. So paddy needs a lot of water during rainy season. So if question comes like why paddy cannot be grown in the winter season, so your answer is paddy is a Kharif crop and paddy requires a lot of water, therefore it is grown only in rainy season, right? So students, these are the different crops, and now we have to study how these crops are cultivated. What are the different practices that are used to facilitate farming? So cultivation of crops involves several steps. Students, this cultivation of the crops is same as that of gardening. If you pursue the hobby of gardening, then you are very much aware about the cultivation of the crops. So during gardening, what you do? You prepare your soil, you sow the seed, then you add manure and fertilizers, you give irrigation, you give water, right? You then cut down the extra parts of the plants, and after maturing you cut the main crop and then you store it. So same is the process of cultivation of crops. So what are the different steps that we have to follow, students? In for the cultivation of the crops, these following 7 agriculture practices are to be followed. Number 1 is you have to prepare the soil. So we are going to discuss one by one. So in the preparation of the soil, what we have to do after preparing why we prepare the soil? So that the seed can be sown. So after sowing of the seed, the proper nourishment should be there. So we have to add manure and fertilizers, then we have to give water that comes in irrigation, then we have to cut down the extra part, the weeds, that are the unwanted plants. Then after maturing, we will cut these crops and then we will store it. So let us discuss these 7 steps. What are the 7 steps? Number 1, we have to prepare the soil, preparation of the soil. After that, we have to sow the seed, sowing. After that, we have to provide manures and fertilizers, adding manure and fertilizers. Then we have to provide water. Then we have to discuss irrigation. Then we have to cut down the undesirable plants. We have to protect from weeds. Then we have to harvest and then storage. So let's discuss the preparation of the soil. Students, this preparation of the soil is a very important step, because if the soil is not good in nature, then the crop will not be grown, right? So one of the most important tasks in the agriculture is to prepare the soil. So what farmers do? Farmers will prepare the soil. They will turn the soil and lose it. Why they will do it? Because this will help the roots to penetrate deep in the soil. So what's the function of this penetration? The loose soil will help the root to breathe easily. And when they go deep into the soil, they will be what? They will penetrate. When they will penetrate deep, this will what? Why we lose the soil? Actually, we are discussing why we are losing the soil. We are losing the soil in the preparation of the soil. We have to lose and turn the soil. So this loosening and turning of the soil will help the plants, will help the root of the plants to penetrate easily and to breathe easily. There are many importances about this preparation of the soil. So you have to remember, in the preparation of the soil, what you have to do. In the preparation of the soil, you have to lose the soil, you have to turn the soil. Why you have to turn and lose the soil? So that the roots can penetrate deep into the soil, and this loose soil also help the roots to breathe easily. Then what is the next important point? Why we have to lose the soil? This loose soil will also help the earthworms and other microorganisms that are present in the soil to grow. So these organisms are considered to be the farmer, because the microorganisms that are present near the roots, the farmer will not able to turn and lose the soil there. So who will do that for the farmers? Yes, these microorganisms will turn and lose the soil for the farmers. This will help the farmers to gain nutrients for the soil. And when these microorganisms die deep inside the soil, so what will happen? They will start getting mixing with the soil. When they will start decomposing, so they will start getting mixing with the soil, and in turn they will give humus. What is humus? Humus is that matters that form in the soil. When any plant and animal decay, they will start decaying. What happens inside the soil? These microorganisms die, and these plant and animals will start decaying. And this decaying matter will form a humus, because it will start getting mixed with the soil, and this soil will get replenished again with the nutrients, because that dead organisms are also having a nutrients in them, na? So they will start mixing and give nutrients to the soil. So you have also learnt in the previous classes that soils also contains minerals, water, air, and some living organisms. And also in addition they also contain dead plants and animals. So these dead plants and animals get decomposed by soil organisms. In this way, various nutrients in the dead organisms are released back into the soil. So these nutrients are again absorbed by the plants. Getting? Are you getting my point? Yes, the soil contains many minerals, water, nutrients, है ना? So also they contain dead plants and animals. So these dead plant and animals, they get decomposed by the another organisms that are present in the soil and get mixed into the soil. So these organisms will provide humus to the soil, and these nutrients are again absorbed by the plants. And one more thing, why we do this loosening and turning? Firstly, you should know there is one word for this loosening and turning of the soil. We can also say tilling or plowing. If I am using the word tilling or plowing, it automatically means the process of loosening and turning of the soil. So this process of loosening and turning of the soil is called as tilling or plowing. So how tilling and plowing is beneficial? So we are discussing that tilling and plowing is beneficial because it helps the root to penetrate easily and to breathe easily. It will help microorganisms to move easily, and this microorganism will add humus to the soil, add nutrients to the soil. Right now this tilling is important because only a few centimeter top layer, if I am discussing about the plant, it means only a few centimeter layer, कि कुछ सेंटीमीटर लेयर ही क्या करती है, सपोर्ट करती है सॉइल को कि वो न्यूट्रिएंट्स गेन कर सके. Only a few centimeter of the top layer of the soil supports plant growth. So turning and loosening of the soil, what will happen if we will turn and loose the nutrients that are in the, yes, the nutrients that are below the top layer will be moved upward and the top layer will be moved downward. This tilling and plowing, this tilling or plowing will help the will help the farmers to loose and turn the soil so that the plant may get the nutrients, sufficient nutrients from the soil, because only the top layer, if the top layer is provided to the plant, then for how long this plant will utilize the nutrients from the soil. So it is very important for the farmers to till the soil, to do the process of tilling so that plants can use these nutrients. Thus turning and loosening of the soil is very important for the cultivation of the crops. Students, one more thing, when we do the when we plow the field or we are doing the tilling process, so maybe big clumps of soil come out, right? जैसे बड़े बड़े पत्थर होते हैं ना, तो soil के बड़े बड़े crumbs क्या हो जाए, maybe it come out. So these big clumps are called as crumbs. क्या बोलते हैं इनको? Crumbs. Let me show you. You can see here. Yes, you can see the process of loosening and turning of the soil is called as tilling or plowing. So this is done by using yes. So how we are going to use this tilling or plowing, how we are going to do this tilling or plowing? This can be done by using different devices. What are the different devices, students? So you can see plow, hoe and cultivator. So these will help the farmers to do the process of what? Preparation of the soil. You can see this is a plow. So this is a, yes, the plow is placed on the back of the bull or a ox. So there are two pairs, one is plow shaft and other is plowshare. Okay, so plow shaft is a long wooden bamboo and plowshare is the main part that is having a iron nail, triangular iron nail. That is a main part that is used for plowing. So students, while plowing, you know that big clumps of the soil called crumbs may come out. So it is very important to break these crumbs, because before sowing of the crop, it is very important to level the ground. So these crumbs should be broken and the leveling of the field should be done so that it will not affect us it will not affect the crop, because leveling the field is beneficial for sowing as well as what, irrigation. So water should be evenly distributed. It will be distributed only when the land is flat. So this crumb should be broken. So how we are going to do the process of leveling? So there is a device called leveler. That leveler will help the farmer to what, to do the leveling of the ground. So sometimes while doing the process of plowing or tilling, manure is added to the soil. Why? Because farmers thinks that manure का mix होना उस टाइम पे अगर हम कर देंगे तो सॉइल में न्यूट्रिएंट्स का रिप्लेनिशमेंट हो जाएगा, so that the plant may get the sufficient nutrients and will grow properly. So students, these are the different tools by which the agriculture can be done. One is plow, other is hoe, and the third one is cultivator. Actually these two, plow and hoe are the traditional tools, and this cultivator is a modern tool. The cultivator you can see here, this is the cultivator at the back. At the back you can see that with the tractor, cultivator can be driven only with the help of, yes, so cultivator can be driven only with the help of this tractor. So tractor will move and cultivator is attached at the back of the tractor. So this tractor will move and the cultivator will do the process of tilling. You can see in the picture, right? So this is a modern way. Out of all the three ways, this cultivator is the best because it will save the time, it will save the labor. So it is a better one from the plow. में क्या होता है, at the back we need two pair of what, so you can read, this is being used since ancient times for tilling the soil, adding fertilizers to the crop, removing the weeds and turning the soil. Plow is used for removing the weeds and turning the soil. Okay, so how it is made? So this is made, how this is made beta? So student, this is made of wood, you can see, and is drawn by the, इसको कौन चलाता है? It is drawn by the pair of bulls. You can also make use of horses, camels. So it contains a strong rectangular iron strip. From here you can see that it also contains, I have already discussed, it contains a long triangular iron strip. It is called as a plowshare. This part is called as a plowshare, and the main part of the plow is a long wood. So it is called as a plow shaft. Okay, so there is a handle at the one end of the shaft, the other end is attached to the beam which is placed on the bull's neck. So one pair of the bulls and the man can easily operate the plow. So hoe, so student, hoe is like a same thing, like you can say that कि जैसे हमारा खुरपी होता है, you can say, ठीक है. So it is a very simple tool which is used for removing the weeds, and it is also used for loosening of the soil. So it has a long, it is same as a plow. Okay, so थोड़ा सा बेंट होता है आगे से, लोगों मैं बताती हूँ आपको कैसा होता है. It is like this, you can say that, थोड़ा सा बेंड होता है, आयरन का होता है. Okay, so you can consider it in a way. So what are the three tools that are used for the preparation of the soil? Number one, yes, number one is hoe, number two is plow, number three is cultivator. So which is the best? Cultivator. So it is driven by the tractor, so less amount of energy, less amount of labor, and less amount of time is there. Yes, so it is a better one. Now next one is sowing. So students, before sowing, yes, so sowing is the next step before sowing. Sowing is an important part of the crop production. Why? Because sowing से पहले it is very important to check whether the seeds that we are going to sow is of good quality or not, is of healthy nature or not. So how we are going to choose the healthy seeds? So student, there is one activity that you may do at home every time. You know what you have to do? You have to take a beaker and you have to fill it with the water. You have to take a handful of seeds and put it into a beaker containing water. You have to wait for some time. So you will see that there will some seeds that will start floating. So because these seeds are lighter, they will come upward. So what is the meaning of these lighter seeds? It means the seeds are damaged, they become hollow and thus lighter, so that's why they are flowing on the water. So how you can check whether the seeds are healthy or damaged? So this is a one way, this is a good method for separating good healthy seeds from the damaged one. So before sowing, one of the important tasks is to know whether the seeds are healthy or not. So another tool for, now we are going to discuss about the tools that are used for sowing. So number one is funnel method. Okay, so what actually is done, this is a traditional method of sowing. So actually what happened, there is a funnel shaped एक equipment होती है that is funnel shaped. So let me show you the funnel. एक्चुअली में क्या होता है, एक फनल होती है, लेट मी शो. दिस इज अ फनल. सो एक्चुअली द पाइप्स आर ऑलरेडी देयर इन द ग्राउंड, right? So you can consider of the water pipes, the silver pipes that are inserted into the ground deep inside, and you have what you have to do, you have to place this funnel on that pipe that is inserted into the ground. So farmer put seeds in this funnel, and with the neck of these seeds, this neck is inserted into the pipe. So from the top of this funnel, from the neck of this funnel, the seeds are transferred to the pipe that is dig inside the dig inside the field. So in this way the seeds are sown. So the tool used traditionally for sowing seeds is this funnel shape. The seeds are filled into this funnel, passed down the 2 or 3 pipes. You can consider कि एक के नीचे एक ऐसे pipes को क्या किया है, interconnect किया है through the sharp end. So these ends pierce into the soil and place seeds there. So now what is the second method? Student, the second method is of seed drill. Can you see? You will see, ma'am, this is same as the cultivator. You can consider that it is same of the cultivator, but it is little bit different. So what happened? This seed drill is used by the farmer nowadays. Why? Because it is very helpful in sowing of the seeds. So this is far better than the traditional method. How? Actually, these seed drill will sow the seed at equal distance and equal depth. And after sowing it at an equal depth and equal distance, it also ensure that कि after sowing the seed gets covered by the soil. जैसे ही seed को sow करते हैं, उसके बाद जैसे ये move करता है तो soil automatically क्या कर देती है, cover कर देती है seeds को. Now what is the benefit of this? This will protect the seeds from being eaten by the birds, and sowing by this seed drill will also save time and labor. By because if one human will go and sow the seed, it will dig, it will put the seeds and it will cover the soil, it will take a lot of time, it will take a large number of farmers. So I think this is the best method, because एक तो ये seed को equal distance में equal depth में sow भी करता है, then it cover the soil also, then so that these can't be eaten by the birds, and it also saves time and labor. Not only these benefit, but it is also one benefit. If the seeds are sown at a proper distance and a proper depth, what happen when this plant will grow, there will be no overcrowding of the plants. If the seeds are sown too closer, what will happen when they will grow, they will start overcrowding. So if they will overcrowd, what will happen, the plant will not get the sufficient sunlight, sufficient nutrients and water from the soil. So this method is very appropriate, because appropriate distance between the seed is very necessary, so that it can avoid overcrowding, and this also allows plant to have sufficient sunlight, nutrients and water. Now what is the next step? Now the seed is sown, right? Now we have to give manure and fertilizers. You have studied in the previous classes why these substances are added. So firstly you should know what are manures and fertilizers. Manures and fertilizers are the substances. These are the materials that are added in the soil. Why? So that the soil may get the sufficient nutrients for their healthy growth, right? So soil जो है that will supply mineral nutrients to the crop. Like you people need nutrients in the form of carbohydrates, fats, vitamins, mineral. So these soil also supplies what? Nutrients to the crop. These nutrients will help in the same way like the nutrients help you for their growth. So these nutrients are essential for the growth of the plants. So you know that many a times farmers grow crops on a same field. So what will happen if the crop is grown one after one? So what will happen? The soil will get deficient in nutrients. So if the soil will get deficient in nutrients, so the crop that will be grown will not grow properly, and that will be not give you a material that is good in quantity and quality also. So it is very helpful in adding manure and fertilizers, because these manure and fertilizers will replenish the soil with the nutrients also. So that manure, how this manure is prepared? Actually this manure is an organic material that is prepared by we people. You can also prepare. How this manure is prepared? Actually in the field there is a one pit, and inside this pit all the waste, whether it is a plant, whether it is of animal, that is put into the pit. Like leaves हो गए, twigs हो गई, then cow dung हो गया, then vegetable peels हो गई, then fruit peels हो गई. You all have to throw that, and then you have to cover it for few months. After few months you will see that the manure, that waste, that organic waste is converted into a what? Very soft soil like material, and that is called as a material, that is called as a nutrient, that is called as a manure, because it contains all the organic waste, and that organic waste will decompose. Who will decompose it? It will be decomposed by the microorganisms, and these manure will then be spread into the soil, so that the fertility of the soil will be maintained, the nutrients of the soil will be replenished. Now what are fertilizers, students? Manure actually is prepared in the field, but these fertilizers are the inorganic. These are the chemicals that are prepared in the what? Factories. Yes. So fertilizer is a man-made inorganic salt. Manure is also man-made, fertilizer is also man-made, but manure is the organic, that is prepared from the natural things, but the fertilizer is inorganic, that is prepared from the artificial chemicals, right? So fertilizers is prepared in factories, but manure is prepared in the fields. And fertilizer does not provide any humus, like we have discussed in the preparation of the soil. What is humus? We have already discussed about humus. Humus is the organic matter that forms in the soil naturally when any plant and animal start decaying. So these fertilizers will not provide any humus to the soil, but manure provide a lot of humus to the soil. And fertilizers are very niche, but one plus point is fertilizers is very rich in plant nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, but this manure is relatively less rich. But this fertilizer will provide harm. It will be a chemical. If you will start mixing in a soil in a large amount, it will what? Create side effect. But manure will not create any side effect, and it is a organic and it is eco-friendly, right? And there are many more advantages of manure over fertilizers, like if we will add manure instead of fertilizer, it enhances the water holding capacity of the soil, okay, and it makes the soil more porous, ज़्यादा porous बनाती है, so that the exchange of the gases become easy, and it also increase the number of friendly microbes, and it also improves the texture of the soil. So this is a one way by which we can maintain the fertility of the soil, by which we can replenish the soil with the different nutrients. Another method is of crop rotation. So this is followed in northern India. Actually this can be done by growing different crops alternatively. What farmers in northern India do, they used to grow legumes as fodder in one season and wheat in next season. This helped in the replenishment of the soil with nitrogen, because one crop will take a lot of nutrients while the other not. So this will help the farmer to replenish, because अगर crop के बीच में पर्टिकुलर टाइमिंग हो या डिफरेंट क्रॉप्स हो जो डिफरेंट क्या करते हो, न्यूट्रिएंट्स लेते हो, so it will also help in the replenishment of the nutrients. So farmers are being encouraged nowadays also, so that they can adopt this practice. So this is all about manures and fertilizers. After that, what we have to do, we have to supply water. So how we can supply water? So you know that we all need water. So beta, irrigation is very important. Why? Because the seed can't be grown in the dry conditions. So germination of the seeds will only take place when there is essential water. So question can come in your exam, why water is essential for the crops? Water is essential because germination of the seeds will not take place under dry conditions. So nutrients will only be transported only when water is provided to the plants. So nutrients dissolved in water are transported to the each part of the plant. Then water also protect the crop from frost and hot air currents also. जैसे लू चलती है तो उस time a lot of evaporation will take place. So the plant will start becoming dry. So under dry condition it won't be able to grow. पौधा सूख जाएगा. So to maintain the moisture of the soil for the healthy crop growth, fields have to be watered regularly. So this supply of water to the crops at regular interval, this process is called as irrigation. Now how we can provide water to the crops? What are the different sources of irrigation? So sources of water the sources of water for irrigation, you know that wells, tube wells, ponds, lakes, rivers, dams, canals. So this is a different sources of irrigation.